What's up guys, Hunter Konechny here. Today I wanted to walk through some of my favorite just random tools, accessories, little tricks, things like that that just make my life easier on the water, and I'm sure it might help you guys out as well. So I just wanted to kind of walk through those. So if you're new to my channel, I make educational videos that help you guys catch more fish. I like doing fun challenges on the water, so if you haven't seen any of my 15 and 5 challenges yet, go ahead and check those out. And I also am an avid tournament fisherman, so I like capturing those tournament moments and putting those out as well. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and hit that button, and without further ado, let's move on. So to start out, I'm going to start with kind of the hand tools. So there's a few really essentials that I feel like just any fisherman or boat should have with them and carry on at all times. So your needle nose pliers, pretty basic, but if you spend a little bit more money on these last quite a while, and the more money you spend, the better the cutters are going to be on them. So these ones I've had for several years now, they're still kind of holding along fine. They could probably be replaced sometime soon here, but for now they're working fine and I'll leave them as is. But I mean, these ones I believe were Shimano. I think they were probably 25 bucks or so, and they've lasted a while. So a good set of needle nose pliers is pretty much a must. Split ring pliers is something that most people might not have in their boat, so that's something that I definitely recommend. These ones are the Gamakatsu ones, and honestly these things are fairly inexpensive. I think they're only like maybe 8 or 10 bucks, but I can change out treble hooks with these things in a matter of seconds rather than minutes if you don't have the right tool to do that. So if you're changing them on a little crankbait, topwater, or anything like that, these things are really a must. And they also have really good shears on them where you can cut braid pretty effectively as well, so that's a little added bonus. So good set of split ring pliers is definitely something you should have in there. Next thing is a good set of scissors. So you don't really want to skimp out too much on these. The more money you spend, the longer they're going to last, and the better they're going to cut braided line. So that's really kind of where those scissors come in, is cutting braided line. You need something that's really sharp and is going to cut that well, or you kind of leave frayed ends, and if you're tying like connection knots and things like that, that can give you problems later down the road. So having a good set of scissors is definitely important. And then lastly, as far as hand tools go, this is probably one a lot of people might not have, but having a set of forceps can be really important at times. So when these things get busted out is when a fish ends up swallowing the hook. So that can happen for a variety of reasons, and it's just really inevitable if you're on the water a lot that eventually it's going to happen, no matter how on top of it you are, setting the hook quick, things like that. Like, it just happens no matter who you are. So these can be very effective at getting a hook out that you might struggle with otherwise, because for one, they're small, but when you're able to clamp down on there, it holds it, and you can help this kind of get down deep into the fish if it might be gut hooked, and it allows you to come in through the gill side, whatever you need to do, but it helps hold that hook. And sometimes you can twist it enough where you can come in from the other side, grab it with the pliers, and be able to pull it out without doing too much damage to that fish, and potentially saving a fish that you might not have been able to otherwise. So these are definitely important, something you should have in your boat, and something I don't tend to need a lot, but when I do need them, they're very important. I'm glad I have them. And once again, these are cheap, nothing too crazy to add. They don't really take up any space, so it's just something that you should have in your boat. And then on top of all of that, having some kind of centralized storage that has all of your tools in an easy to grab place is something that's really important as well. So this little coaster here that I'm showing you right now, I mean, I think they might be $20 or so, but in an older boat like mine, they didn't come standard with anything like that. So that just goes right where a cup holder was. It takes up the spot of a cup holder, and now you have your perfect centralized storage for scissors, pliers, whatever you might need. So this is right in the center of the boat. This is where I'm always going to need them, and it just works out perfect. So I think those ones were from Ant Marine, which I think you can get on Tackle Warehouse in different places as well. But that's definitely something you should have as well, as some kind of centralized tool holder. It just makes it way easier, quicker. Everything you need is right there, and you always know where it's at. So the next thing on the list is just having a good scale. So this one's a Bubba. I mean, there's a lot of good brands out there, so it doesn't necessarily need to be this specific one, but spending a little extra money on the scale just gives you a lot more features that can really make you more efficient on the water and just make things a lot easier. So this scale right here has a whole integrated culling system that's very easy to use. It's very quick, it's very accurate. So that in mind, like back in the day, we had to use balance beams, and I mean, just culling fish, if you're catching a bunch of fish that are the same size throughout the day, like you could waste an hour just culling fish, where this thing shaves it down to, you weigh your new fish, you know exactly which one you need to grab out of the live well. Everything's just quick and easy. So I mean, there's other brands as well, but having a scale that has culling capabilities and can store all of that information in there, I highly recommend you go ahead and just spend a little bit extra to get that feature, because it makes it so much quicker and easier on the water, and it just saves you a lot of time. And I mean, really, time is money when you're out there, and if you're spending a lot of time just trying to figure out which fish you need to cull, you're not fishing, and that you could catch an extra fish or two by spending that extra little bit to get there. And then to coincide with that, this Bubba scale has a culling system that correlates color and number with what's in the scale there. So if you weigh number 1, it'll show you that number 1 is red, and then it'll give you the number. So when you go to cull that later, all you have to do is go look for that red ball. You know you have the right fish, and you can cull them real quick, and everything's good to go. So getting the integrated culling system that goes with whatever scale you have is super important. And then one step further, I have these numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way down, so that when I go and grab the culling ball when I'm in a tournament, I can just quickly grab it. I don't have to try and sort through the numbers and remember what's what. You just go look at this real quick, grab it, and then you know you have the right one, and it's just quicker and easier. So organization is definitely something that's important as well, and having that kind of set up ready to go before you start your day just gets you one step ahead, where you're kind of starting off on the right foot. You're not searching for things when game time comes around and things like that. So a good scale and culling system is definitely a must, especially if you're a tournament angler and you want to save some time on the water there. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is kind of getting into some tackle storage. So I mean, I've been doing this for a long time now. I've used a bunch of different ways of storing tackle, and I've run across some things that really I don't like at this point in time and hasn't worked good for me. And I've also come across a lot of things that I have liked and have worked a lot better for me. So one thing I wanted to kind of mention is when you're using your storage boxes, this is a Plano, doesn't really matter what brand, but spending just a little bit, that extra whatever it is, $5 or $10 to get the more high quality box is something I've really noticed to make a big difference. These ones are all sealed, the latches are just high quality, like you're not losing them. It just works a lot better, because I've used the cheap ones forever, and you pull the box out, and just like this one sitting right here, you're missing a latch, it's spilling stuff all the time. It doesn't work good, and you kind of pay by being a little bit cheaper with that. So getting that little bit nicer box, you aren't gonna regret it in the long run. They last way longer, you're just way more organized that way, you're not spilling stuff all the time. It's just something that I've always gone the cheap route in the past, but I'm starting to realize just spending a little bit extra to get that more high quality is something you will regret. And on top of that, it saves your baits by sealing it and keeping the water out and things like that. It keeps everything better, and you probably end up saving money in the long run by not losing baits and having them get ruined. So just something to keep in mind. So moving on, soft plastics is going to be the next thing. So I've tried a bunch of different stuff for this now, and it's just not convenient really to store soft plastics with most systems that I've found so far. This is how I've done it for quite a while, and it works pretty good, but the downside to this is these things don't fit good anywhere. It ends up inevitably, kind of like this one is right now, just being jammed with random stuff and cluttered, and you end up where you're not really finding what you need to find, and it just becomes a mess because it's too big. So that in mind, I just recently bought these soft plastic bags, which how it works, just got 2 zippers down the side, and then you put your baits just staggered in here, just in a nice line where it's nice and neat and you can see exactly what's in there. And then it's got the window on the top so you can see in it, got a magnet, and it's just a couple zippers. So I'm really excited to use these because I just feel like that's finally going to be a little bit of the solution to some of my soft plastics problems, where I just have too many different things in one box and it just becomes cluttered and I can't find what I need to find when I find it. So I think I'm going to really enjoy those, and having a good efficient system for your soft plastics is something that's important. So on top of just being a little bit more specific, where now I can just put, all right, I have a bag for Senkos, I got my drop shot bag, I got whatever you want to name, frog, like toad frogs, where each different technique will kind of have their own little bag there. And then on top of that, if I know I don't need them at the lake I'm going to, I can just leave it at home easy too, where, I mean, on any given day, I probably only need a handful of what might be in one of these big boxes, but I just got to truck along the whole big box because I don't want to go and try and sort every little thing out that I might need. So inevitably, I just end up hauling way more than I probably need to because it's just inconvenient. And then on top of that, like I said, they don't store good. These being soft and a little bit more flexible, I can really probably fit way more than I need with those, and it'll fit in places that are more convenient, because the issue I kind of run into is these don't really stack very good either, so you can't get them into some of the storage boxes like in the back of the boat very good, for example. So good system for your soft plastics is something that's really important. In addition to all that, I'm going to end up putting a bait bar in my my storage here, where I kind of have the main bags that I store just whatever category it might be, and then when I'm fishing a tournament and I know there's certain baits that I'm going to need throughout the day, I'll just put that on the bait bar up here, and then I have all of the baits I'm going to use for the day at a pretty easy, quick, accessible place. So I think all of that together should work pretty good. If I find something better, I'll update you guys on that later down the road, but that's kind of more what I'm working towards now for the soft plastics. So the last thing I wanted to mention is having a good quality net is something that really might be overlooked, but is super important, especially for the tournament guys. If you're just trying to use a cheap janky net and maybe it's like got the mesh in it where it's always tangled in your treble hooks and stuff, it just ends up giving you problems and you lose time throughout the day. So that one's very quick and easy. On top of it, it extends, so I can store this very easy. But I also have a net that's got probably a 6-foot handle or so I can reach out pretty far, and it just works good where it stays compact and out of the way for the most part. But when I need it, I do have that extra length there. It's got a pretty big hoop. It just works good. This one is an Ego, but there's plenty of good nets out there. So I mean, don't be torn specifically to that one. I mean, I don't necessarily think the brand matters. My point is just get something that's quality, because netting the fish is honestly one of the most important parts of the whole deal. And if you have a net mishap and something goes wrong with your net right in the most critical time, that would be devastating. So spend a little bit of money on your net and just get something that's quality, where you have everything you need to do what you need to do there. But that's gonna pretty much wrap it up. I'll keep this one pretty short and to the point. I'm just wanting to give you some of the little tools that help me throughout the day. I think the biggest part of it is just kind of being organized. So like I said, having that little puck where it stores all my hand tools is super helpful. Having good, efficient tackle storage systems makes life way easier throughout the day, where you're not spending extra time just searching for the things you need. And then on top of that, a good scale. So all of this, really what it's coming down to is it's just making your life easier. So anything you can do to make your life easier on the water will result in you having more time, you have more fun because you're not frustrated because you can't find things that you're looking for and you need. And it just makes life easier. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I make videos twice a week. There's going to be plenty more coming out. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one.